What's going on, guys? Rob Bifo here with another Hot Toys review, and this is the Deathstroke from Arkham Origins. And this, I gotta say, this is one that you may heard me mention before, particularly back when I did the Phantom Menace Darth Maul figure. This one and that Darth Maul were both the two Hot Toys that I saw. I hadn't had any Hot Toys when these two were released, and they were pretty much the first two that like really like caught my eye and made me just kind of fall in love with Hot Toys. And they were pretty much they've been the ones that got away. I never picked them up. I've told this story before, but I always showed restraint and was able to not buy any Hot Toys, and because I knew it was a slippery slope, and once you get one, then you suddenly have 5, and then you suddenly have 10, and so on and so forth. But nevertheless, we have already crossed that bridge. We are in the zone where we have the Hot Toys now. So that being said, I got the Phantom Menace Darth Maul. That one's off the list, and now we have the Deathstroke from Arkham Origins here. Now we're knocking that one off the list, and I have to say, I am not disappointed. And once we get into the review here, I'm sure you guys will see why. Maybe not. You might not like it, but I personally love this figure. I think it may in fact be my best, or not best, but my favorite figure. But we will get more into that once I actually get it unboxed and take a look at everything. So without any further ado, let's actually get started and take a look at this thing, get it out of the box, look at all the accessories and everything it comes with, put them in some poses, and review this thing, because I'm telling you, I am very excited to have this. So let's get this thing started. All right, guys. So first things first, let's take a look at the box here. So it's just your typical Hot Toys flair, but we got a nice image of Deathstroke here right on the front cover here. Video game masterpiece series, Deathstroke VGM 030, and your Batman Arkham Origins logo. 1/6 scale collectible figure, of course. You get the art that goes kind of wraps around it onto the side here, as you saw when it was spinning. And then you also have your typical credits here, but you get a nice little picture of the figure itself there on the back. Not all of them have that. Some do, some don't. Some just have your regular logo. And you have this nice little, Deathstroke got his own kind of logo for it as well. So there's that. And then the cool thing about this box, though, and why I have the camera zoomed out this far to get you in a vertical shot here, is this one has your nice little preview window when you open the boy up. Mine, the glue has kind of came apart on my box here. I tried to re-glue it. That was kind of annoying, but this is an older figure, so not the most surprising thing in the world. At least there wasn't any damage to it, but be wary of that. There is some glue there, and mine was like that out of the box when I got it. And it was not a used figure. I got this brand new. I managed to find it on eBay for pretty much regular price, so I just had to go ahead and get it. Then you got some more credits here with the artist, and there's some art going all the way through it, that Deathstroke logo again, and then the figure himself. But other than that, you still open him up just from the top here. And then he just slides right out. Now, the thing is with this one as well, in the very back, you will also have the, the diorama. So the diorama is right here in the back. Right here, and we'll take a more in-depth look at this a little bit later on in the video. But then, just one thing to note as well, when you first get it, if you get it brand new, and maybe if you buy it used, if someone takes the time to actually go through and do this, they actually have his little tassels. You can see mine, I've already had mine out of the box, so like I didn't bother putting it back in here. I just put them back in the box for the unboxing purposes of this video and everything. But they'll have the tassels that are on the back of his helmet actually coming through a hole right here, and then into its own protective sheen of plastic in the back. So be wary of that when you actually go to take him out of the box. You don't just yank it straight out, because it might be, kind of stuck down in the tape or just on something there. You don't want to damage your figure, right? But then, obviously here, we have all the accessories that he comes with, and he comes with a good amount. He's got a gun, multiple hands, grenades, all that good stuff. We'll take a more better look at this once we actually get everything out of the package. Then, and I actually had, personally myself, forgot about the diorama piece, so when I first pulled this bad boy out, I was like, "Oh, nice." Not the greatest diorama piece in the world by any means, but it's better than not having one. You got your instruction booklet, and then, of course, he has more accessories down inside here. He has a staff, his sword here, his little, utility packets here that go around his chest. There's a sheath for the sword that goes onto his back, a secondary battle damage. They say that this is a battle damage breastplate, and I'll get more into this later, but, like, realistically speaking, all the difference is that it's smaller, but it has the same battle damaging on the figure itself. Like, as you can see here, all the nicks are, like, identical. So it's weird that they consider this a battle damaged chest piece, but all it really does is just reduce the chest plate armor on him. I don't know if it would maybe help with mobility if you wanted to get him in some other poses, like maybe with this one on. I haven't messed with it enough to really know, but my guess is that maybe if you put this one on, you might be able to get his arm over kind of his shoulder so you can maybe pull the sword out, kind of like this action. Like you could maybe pull it up and then get behind him like that, so you could maybe have him grab the sword. I don't really know. It's just it was kind of odd that if I'm not mistaken, that is described as a battle damage chest plate. It has the same chest. It has the same battle damage, so it's just kind of odd. But first impressions of this thing when you first get them out of the box is, I mean, in my opinion, it's incredible looking. This is one of the most detailed and impressive paint jobs that I've seen on like any 6 scale figure, what like in general. Like just down to just the individual is the texture of the armor. It almost looks like a painted carbon fiber kind of it's just it has its own texture to it and it's awesome looking. It's not just like a flat paint job thing. You got nicks and actually like, like actual like scarring, imprints into the chest plate itself, along with like paint, wear and tear kind of look to it. It's really, it's quite impressive. And one of the most, we'll get more into this here once we get everything out of the package and get them in its pose and everything. But this thing, it's kind of like an Iron Man figure in the sense that like it almost just looks like a statue because you don't actually see any of the joints. Like everything is pretty much perfectly covered just inherently by design of the armor and everything. So it makes it just look like a beautiful 6 scale statue just sitting there. So yeah, first impressions when you get this thing out of the box, at least for me, is just it's incredible. The paint is vibrant and looks very nice. All of the battle damage, the scarring and just paint scuffs and actual like, again, like the nicks, it's even all over his back plate. Super, super detailed. And yeah, it's great. Got the mixture of the cloth with like the more armored hard plastic. It's just oh, his hand just popped off. Look at that. But it's fantastic. So what we're gonna do here now, guys, is since since his hand just popped off, I can get this put back on. But we'll go ahead, I'll get everything out of the box, and we'll take a look at everything it comes with, all the accessories and all that, then take a closer look at the figure himself. All right, guys, so here is all of the accessories, everything he comes with out of the box. First things first, since it'll take up most of the whole screen here, I have the Diorama Backdrop all put together. So all it does is it comes with these two just cardboard pieces here on both sides. They have little inserts here on the actual backdrop itself, and they just slide right in there, and then you are presented with the whole diorama itself. It's nothing too mind-blowing or crazy or anything. It's just, it's a nice graphic backdrop. It looks good with just putting behind him if you have the room for it. It does become quite tall, so you might not have a lot of room. I haven't even tried putting in a detolf or anything like that. At this point in time, this is the first that I've actually put the backdrop, the diorama whole thing together itself. But it looks nice for sure. The paint's good on it, and it's cool. I like anything that comes with. I like when figures come with stuff like this, like just like when they come with chairs or a backdrop or anything like that. I like that kind of stuff. And then we have the base here with a nice metal nameplate here. There's some very nice etch work into it there. Looks very good. Looks really well done. And then you have a art base here with Deathstroke on the figure or on the base itself. Standard crotch grabber here. Nothing too fancy about it other than that. Then your standard credits here on the bottom. Now let's take a look at the hands here, because the hands are very nicely done. The only thing that I honestly don't like about them is that they're all very hard plastic. So it is very hard for, like, this hand, for instance, is the trigger hand for the pistol, and it takes a little bit of maneuvering to get in there. Like, they don't there's not a lot of give on the fingers. It can be quite difficult at times, but elsewise, I love the detailing. You can see all the individual, the weathering, the paint chips, and all this stuff on it. It looks very well done, and all of the hands have the very similar weathering and paint job done to it. It all looks fantastic. Like, my only complaint with them would be, again, I wish they had used a little bit of a softer plastic. But it gets the job done. One thing to note too, I don't know if I'm assuming you do have 2 fists. I guess I'll just go over this. I was looking for the open hand, but you have 2 fists, again, with the same paint job all the way around. They look very nice. I'm very impressed with the paint job on the figure overall, but they look fantastic on the hands. And one thing to note, I'm assuming this is supposed to be like this. You can actually or it maybe not, in all honesty. I don't know for sure. Maybe it's not supposed to do this, but my thumb came out. I don't know if it was supposed to be glued and it kind of just became unglued, because, again, like I said, this is very hard plastic. So when you try to get, like, the staff or the sword into this hand, it's quite difficult. And I managed to get the staff in here without this thumb coming off or anything. But when I actually went to take the staff out, that's when the thumb just kind of came with it. So be mindful of that. It does just pop right back in. So I'm not sure if that's actually by design and this is supposed to be a removable joint. Um, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. You don't really see the seam. So, I mean, it works out well. If it is something that, you could always glue it in if you wanted to, but just be mindful of it more so than anything, just because it is a small little thumb. So, I mean, you might lose it if you don't notice. If you didn't know it would come out, you might drop it on the floor or something, and then you kind of lost your thumb at that point, right? Then, before we get into the cooler stuff, you got your 2 standard replacement pegs there. Couple of these for, like, the belt, and just some buttons that you can put on to replace, like on the strap here, if any of these were to fall out. Speaking of which, this is his little utility. I don't even know what you would actually call this. It's like a holster, but it goes over his chest. So regardless, because it's not a belt, his belt's already on there. This goes over the chest, and this is really nicely done. It has, like, these don't open by any means, but they do have, like, the buckles on here. And these are all actually, like, individual, like, look like they would be functional, right? They're made to appear functional. They're not, but they did a really good job with that. It's not just like one solid thing. There's individual fabric here and, like, sewn together to give it the appearance with, like, ammo clips and things like that. Again, they're just there for aesthetics. They're not actually, like, functional by any means. But then you have, like, just some more stuff on this thing. I don't even know what this would be, but it's there. You have a metal looking strap here. This does not actually come off or anything. And then this, it actually goes for the sword here. So on the back, for this would actually just pop off. This is not a magnet, it is a peg. So that just pops into there. And then they have a hole here for this. So then you just stick this through. Then there's a hole on his back. So then this would pin right in there and then clips over. And then you're left with that right there. So that was a really nice touch. I really liked that they went out of their way to do that, to actually, like, build this into it. So it just looks super seamless once you have it in there. So I really like this piece. And then, speaking of which, we'll take a look at the sheath. And the sheath, again, the paint job on this stuff is just awesome. Like, you have all these little bolt looking things here, some nice weathering, and it's not too much weathering, but it's like just enough. You know, you got a lot up here where most of the movement would happen. Your sword actually does go down inside of it. The sword paint job doesn't have any weathering on it. This is like pretty much a pristine looking sword, but I'm fine with it. Like, I think the sword looks great. Like, the detail work on it looks really good, like the reds and then the black, and then you got this like very dark gunmetal looking blade. It's a very cool design. I'm a fan of it. I could have used maybe some weathering and some nicks on it, maybe just because everything else is so, like, his suit has so much battle damage to it. It is kind of odd that the sword is in such pristine condition, but either way, it still looks great. And quite frankly, I typically keep it sheathed anyway, so it's not really all that big of a deal. And because of the blade, the blade style, it does only go in one way. So just be mindful of that. Then the staff is also another pristine job here. So this one doesn't have any weathering or anything like that, but it is quite large. And they did, because of it's so large, you have an option to actually pull out the blade ends, well, not the blade ends, the staff ends on either side. Oh my god, this one. There we go. So you can pull these out, and you're just left with this. But then you can actually cap these into it on either side, so it looks like it's just retracted. So that was a really nice touch. So if you don't have a, sorry, a car just went by. I don't know if that came in, and it was a very loud truck or something. I don't know if that came through the mic, but apologies. So yeah, if you don't have enough room on your display, if it takes too much space, because this thing is like a foot long, you know, so you can actually put these caps in here to make it look like it's just not so it's retracted at the time. So that was a nice touch that they actually added that in my opinion. So you have two of those, and the paint job on these is really well done. It's nothing fancy or anything, but it looks like metal. Like, they did a really good job on it. It matches the overall design of the staff and everything quite well. This is just plastic here, but it gives the look of like some padding or some rubber on it. And this here again, like the paint job and the material of that, looks like it just looks like steel, you know, it looks really good. So you have that there. Then again, here is the chest piece portion. Okay, so we'll actually just take a look at this chest piece here. So this just, again, this thing looks incredible. Am I right? Like, this thing, it's incredible. But while we're looking at the chest piece here, so it just pops right off. Quite simply there, you got two holes there, and then you just pop this one off. And then you're left with that. So again, I don't like how it looks with this one on here, but I might, again, my assumption for it is just that it just gives you a little bit more articulation, and it does seem like it would then allow you to actually do the whole he's grabbing the sword thing from behind. So I guess you do get that out of it. I just personally don't really like how it looks though. So I just keep this one in. I think this looks much better just for the aesthetics, right? But what else we got? Yes, the other cool thing, we got a couple more things to look at here. You got this, like, I'm not even sure what this is. Like, it's like, in all honesty, it's like this goes with it, so you can take it's like a grappling gun of some kind, right? But this can pop into here. These are actually articulated, so it's kind of cool in that regard. So then you can also, like, pop this wire into here and then pop it in on the other side as well. So you can do all that, and then you can, I guess it's kind of like a bolo, right? So you can have it wrapped around somebody. It's pretty cool. It's not really something that I typically like posing with, but it is really cool. And like I said, it's like completely articulated, so you can do some whatever you would like to do with it, really. The back piece is not articulated, but the front piece is. Or you can just have it completely put together and then inside of the gun itself like that. And then you're there. So I guess it is like a bolo gun, right? So we have that, and then you do actually have like a pressure gauge on here, which is really cool. Just like, again, just like a very nice attention to detail on this thing. I don't think anything else moves on it, but there's that. Then we have the Deagle here, which is fully articulated. So you have this, not a lot of weathering on the weapons. The weapons are pretty much all in pristine condition, but there's a very nice paint job to it. You can pull the hammer up, pull the hammer down. You can cock it right here. There is not, you actually can, there's nothing in the chamber, but you can pull the clip out, and there are bullets in the clip. So you have that there, which is just very cool. Again, just the attention. Won't focus on it. There we go. The attention to detail on this, again, is just, it's incredible. But you can, if you have the hammer down and you cock the weapon back, you can see, I don't know if you'll be able to see it in here, but you can see down through and see the bullet like in there. But either way, so very cool. And you can pop that up, and then there it is. That's the pistol. And then the other cool thing with this, give me 1 minute. I dropped that wire. So make sure I didn't lose that. Now let's take a closer look at the figure itself here. So, and here's some of the really cool things that I like about this thing. The functionality of it is like spot on. So you can actually holster the weapon, like fits perfectly inside of there. That's great. When you want to put this on, you do have to pop his head off. So you pop off the head, and then you just wrap this up through the arm, get it over the neck and ball joint, and then it sits down right in there. And then you just pop his head back on. Again, I guess while I'm here with this, while he's beheaded, I love the just detailing on the suit itself. So you see here, it has like this like black armored looking material here, completely separate from the material that's on his neck. And it's just like a nice like cloth fabric-y material here. But the fact that they have that added on there, when you actually pop the head down in, it's completely seamless. You don't see any joints or anything like that at all, and I love that. Which again just lends itself to being like, it looks like a statue. Like it just looks like a statue. But you can see here, so perfectly seamless around there. So the only thing too, while I'm at it, while I'm talking about the head, the one thing that I think that would have like made this like probably it's already one of the greatest figures like made in my opinion, but what would have really sent it over the edge if they would have had a Slade Wilson head sculpt. So one without, just a normal Slade Wilson head sculpt, that would have really, really like knocked this thing out of the park for me. But nevertheless, it's a great head sculpt altogether. Very nice with the paint application, the weathering, the texture on it just looks fantastic. Like I love the overall just design of this armor too, like from the game and everything. Like the overall design of the character is just incredible. And then you have this piece of both of these pieces on his shoulders are actually on their own like joint. So like you see that they actually go in. So if you're it has its own articulation essentially, so you can actually move it around, and like it gives you a lot more give, so you can actually get him into a lot of poses and everything. Because that's the thing, despite him having all of this like chunky armor, you can get him in very dynamic poses. He is quite flexible and everything. And then so these little pouches and everything can move. You have fabric here attaching like to the belt and everything. Like this it's just the attention to detail on this is what really sells this thing for me. Like you have like the extra fabric here where this is actually attached. This is moving. You got his pants here that are actually fabric material. You have like the scale mail down here and on the arms and everything. It just looks phenomenal. Like absolutely phenomenal. And then aside from that, like even these shotgun shells up here, you can actually move these. Like it's really awesome. Like you can get them all lined up, you can move them around, like you can do whatever you want with them. That's cool. So then we'll get to so the one thing too, be mindful with these, like already my wire is starting to come out of the, like, tassels here, and I know, like, everybody, like, a lot of people, I think everybody who has this figure has had a problem with the wiring on their tassels. It just kind of is what it is. It was a very thin fabric, and I don't know, I guess, like, the glue that, like, held it in just didn't hold up, so, like, the wire just became exposed. It's not the biggest deal in the world. I like that the wiring is there because you can get it into some poses, but obviously over time, you're pretty much gonna be left with it's gonna come out. So, that's really the, like, kind of a detractor for it, but I don't know, it's just kind of expected in all honesty. And another thing too, just that I love about this thing is just like the functionality of it again. So you can have him just like he's articulated enough to where he can just like grab the gun. He can do that. Let's go ahead and guess we'll get this all put in here. I'll show you how this works here. So then again, you have this in the back, goes right into the hole there, clips in. Then we clip that in, and then now we have the sword sheathed onto his back. So you have that. And it's kind of personal preference too, because you don't have to have this on here. You can take this off, and then that hole is still there in the back. So you can just have the sword there. You can take the sword out. I like it because it gives him, just makes him look more beefy, right? Gives him more stuff. And then the last thing that's quite cool on here, and accessory wise that we didn't really go over, is the grenades. So these again, perfect paint job on them, not any weathering on the grenades or anything, but the cool thing is, like, these are, one, detachable, but two, they actually clip on to these little, kind of hard to see, but there's some elastic right here. So all you do is you actually just clip it in through here and get it on there, and then they just stay actually clipped onto him like that. So I thought that was really cool that they actually have them, like, to where they are, like, detachable themselves. Oh, crap, I think I need to put this over the belt, though. Let me get the belt back down. There we go. Yeah, you just flip her on through there, and then bada bing, bada boom, now you have your grenades. So it's very cool. Like, they didn't have to do this at all, right? Like, and I really like that, like, they, because it's just another thing that puts kind of, like, some options into the collector, you know? Like, if you wanna have him, you want the grenades, you can put the grenades on. If you don't want the grenades, you can just take the grenades off. Like, it's a very cool little feature in my opinion. God, why is it giving me so much trouble? There we go. And then once you have them on, they just sit right there. So that is very, very cool in my opinion. And also it keeps the belt down, like, where it's kind of supposed to go to, in all honesty. But yeah. So again, I absolutely love this figure. The paint job on it, the armor application, everything just looks fantastic. Again, battle damage everywhere. And again, he's really articulated. So like he doesn't have like a ton of mobility. Like he's not gonna go like completely wide legged, but like you can get him like, and you can move him pretty good. Like his got like full knee bend, got some good ankle swivel here. Legs go out pretty far there. Like, it's really, really well done, like, arms go all the way out. So, like, you would think, like, especially, like, even the Batman figure, the Arkham Batman figures, like, they don't have all that great of articulation, like, the suits just are very cumbersome, and they don't let you don't get a lot of give out of it. But with, Deathstroke here, like, you actually do get quite a bit of articulation out of him, and you can get him into quite a few, like, action poses. It's really nice. Everything about this figure I absolutely love. But that pretty much covers everything on it. Like, you got the great, some like nice spray, some like dirt kind of paint job application going on here. The weathering, just, I don't know. I feel like at this point I'm just like repeating myself over and over about how much I just love the paint application on the figure, all the armor and the battle damage and all that stuff. It's just an amazing, absolutely amazing figure. But let's get him into some poses and I'll kind of just get my final thoughts all put together and go from there. So there we have it, guys. That was the unboxing. I hope you enjoyed that. Now I have him in some poses. Got him on the turntable. We're going to check him out, give my kind of final thoughts on everything. So let's take a look at all that. So here we go. We have him just standing straight up and down. No fancy pose or accessories or anything other than the ones that are attached to him. So like the guns holster, the swords on his back, that kind of stuff. But as you can see, this dude looks imposing as hell. Like, he looks amazing. Again, I mentioned the paint and sculpt and all this stuff like a million times during the unboxing. I know. But it just looks incredible. Even just standing there with just standing straight up and down. Looks great. Here we have him with the backdrop there. The backdrop could have used some stuff on the sides because it's a little slim. Like, he's pretty much as big as it, minus a couple inches off the top. So it's fine though. I like it. I have it on display in my a DTOF with it in the back there because it's there and I put it together. So why not? The crazy thing is though, despite him having this big chunky armor, he's incredibly posable. Like, you can get him into some good poses, some good diverse stuff. His legs can stretch pretty far. He's really like the Arkham Knight Batman is far less mobile than Deathstroke is, which is crazy. Like, the suit that Arkham Knight Batman has is just like so much more restrictive. Even despite Deathstroke having all this big chunky armor, he can move more. So he's got that going for him. I tend to just actually like him in this pose. That's arguably kind of boring, but just like hand on the gun that's in the holster, like he's pulling it out with the sword or the staff in the left hand. That's how I have him on display in mine. Pretty much just like that, actually. Just imagine the backdrop being behind there. And that's how he is in my DTOF right now. I just love it. It's like he's just ready. You know what I mean? He just looks ready to go. Plus, when you have him holding the staff, you get the added benefit of the sword still being there. He has nowhere to clip the staff onto if he's holding the sword. So you kind of have to just get rid of the staff. So, that being said, one thing I would have liked for them to add to this would have been like a little clip maybe on the back of the sword sheath, kind of like where you can see that strap. If there were just some little clips there to where you could put the staff in there, just click it in. So that way it can both hold the staff and the sword. That'd be kind of cool because then you can have him holding the sword while the staff's still on his back, as opposed to just having to get rid of it. Is what it is. But either way, I absolutely love this figure. It's probably without a doubt, quite possibly my favorite hot toy. I don't know why. I love the paint. I'm gonna say it again. I love the paint. I love the sculpt. No, but realistically though, I love the overall design of this. Just the armor itself. The Deathstroke from Arkham Origins has. I mean, it was so good that even Zack Snyder and Ben Affleck pretty much copied the exact same armor for Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke. So, which we're gonna be seeing here come tomorrow in the Snyder Cut. So, looking forward to that. But yeah, I love this thing. So guys, let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Again, despite the staff thing aside, the only other thing that I think would have made this like an 11 out of 10, I feel like arguably this thing is like a 10 out of 10 as it is. There's nothing I really don't like about it other than the wires and the helmet tassels. Like, I've had mine for just like, I mean, realistically only like a week, but like I've literally held him for less than an hour's worth of time, right? And the wiring is already broken out of the tassels. So I wish they could have done the tassels like a little bit better. I don't really know how they would have done it, but just if I had to give it a complaint, that would be the complaint. Other than that, the thing that would make it an 11 out of 10 would have been a Slade Wilson head sculpt. If they would have made that, that would have been awesome. Which I think John and I were actually discussing this, and maybe because he never had his helmet off in the game, they weren't allowed to make a Slade Wilson head sculpt because it's a licensed figure, so they can really only use the likeness of what was presented to them. They made this based off Deathstroke in the Arkham Origins game, so there was no Slade Wilson head in that. Then I don't think there was anyway. I don't think they ever showed him unmasked. It's been a while since I played that game. Very underrated game in my opinion. A lot of people, everyone always talks about Arkham City and Arkham Knight, but like Arkham Origins was really good. I really liked the story. It was really simple and it was more linear than like Arkham City was. It was much more like Arkham Asylum. Um, but I thought it was good, and it was WB Montreal who made that one as opposed to Rocksteady. Maybe that's why people don't talk about that one as much. But I really like that game. I thought it was fun. So that the fact that I like that game so much actually gives me a lot of hope for the Gotham Knights game that's coming out soon, because that's being made by WB Montreal, and then the Suicide Squad game is being made by Rocksteady. So we're gonna have 2 more installments in the Arkham Knight series here coming up. So either way, probably get more Hot Toys. We got the Batgirl coming out, so hopefully they make a Robin and a Nightwing and all that stuff. That'll be cool. But guys, that pretty much covers it for the Deathstroke. Let me know what you guys think of him down in the comment section below. Like I said before, I think I mentioned either at the top of the video or during the unboxing, I can't remember. I think he's on eBay from a variety of sellers, new in box, for like $300, which is right around normal price if you consider what you would have had to pay for tax and shipping from like Sideshow or whatever when he was in stock. So I would 100% recommend trying to pick him up while he's there at essentially normal price. I got him, like I said, $300 free shipping. So it was literally just as expensive as it would have been buying it straight from Sideshow directly after tax and shipping. So I would recommend this to anybody who's looking to start a Hot Toys collection, who's filling out a Batman collection, pretty much anybody. Deathstroke fans, it's probably the best 6-scale representation of Deathstroke out there. Like, the only thing that's even, like, remotely cooler than this is I think it's an XM Studios 1/4 scale, no, 1/3 scale, actually. So it's really big. Deathstroke statue. You can see that on Sideshow. That thing's awesome. I'd love to have that. But yeah, let me know what you think down in the comment section below about the Deathstroke here. And other than that, like the video, subscribe. Every Monday, we got Honest and Uneducated, our podcast where we talk about movies and movie news and video games, comic books, all sorts of fun stuff like that. Every Monday, new episodes out around like 7 a.m. What else do we got? Every Friday, we do streams, some live streaming. I don't know what happened to my voice there, but come hang out with us. I'm out of breath. I don't know why I'm out of breath right now. But come hang out every Friday around like, I don't know, 8:30. Between 8 and 9 p.m. is when we normally start. Normally run pretty late, like 1 or 2 in the morning, play some video games. I do a lot of unboxings around then, so if I get a new hot toy in, I'll do like an unboxing and a figure preview. Do those every Friday, sometimes multiple. If I get like 2 in at the same time, well, there we go. Like I'll probably unbox them there on stream, and then we talk about them, all that sort of stuff. And then again, every Wednesday is when I put out the new collectible reviews. So look out for those. Once I go through all the Hot Toys and like 6-scale stuff I have, I'm going to start going through and doing a lot of statues I have. Like I have like this stuff behind me I haven't reviewed, in all honesty. And so I'll probably do some of those and like lightsaber reviews, things like that. I will say, for anybody who wants to stick around here for like 2 seconds, I can show you a little preview. I built this new DTOF display. It's 3 DTOFs, and I built a bench to like rise them off the ground a bit, because that's one thing with DTOFs that kind of suck, is like the bottom shelf. It's like so low. So like a lot of people will buy like the smaller Bestie units to stack them on top of. I had a section of wall that was like a perfect size for 3 DTOFs, and the Bestie unit isn't big enough for 3. There's like 2 inches too small, so that's what she said. So it would have been hanging off. So I built this bench, and give you a little preview of it, because once I get all this stuff set up, I will do like a collection room tour kind of thing, showcasing all the collectibles. And I did this on my phone, so it might not be the best quality, but I have like a Bestie unit here. But this is like my TV stand, but I have a couple 6-scale statues in here, resin statues, and I have another one on the other side. And I'm thinking about getting a 4th one to put on the other corner. But either way, you're not even going to see that part right now. But here's the bench I built, and I put the 3D tops on top of it. And then I think it looks great. Now, this isn't a final product as far as like I don't have the lighting in it yet. I don't have all the figures in it yet. I took some, if you're a regular viewer, you know, like some, like I had Deathstroke and Batman and God, and Genos, like I had those behind me. And they're probably going to come back out to the studio once I get everything in to actually get into these DTOFs. I just got these set up and everything, so I just put everything in there right now just to kind of fill it out. But I think it turned out really good. So I would definitely recommend anybody who has detofs, get something to rise them up off the ground because it creates a really, really nice aesthetic for it. Like it looks incredible. Like so much better than like I don't know about you guys, but I have cats, so like the bottom shelf would always get kind of like all the cat hair would go inside of it. That's one thing. Yeah, dust proof them. Look up on how to dust proof them. You can get like weather stripping to put in on the inside. Thinking about doing that at some point. Once I get the lighting, I got the Death Trooper in, did the unboxing for that, so you can check that out. And Genos in. But yeah, I got those sitting in there right now. I'll have those reviews up soon. Got Saitama in too, so look out for the unboxing and preview of that coming out on this upcoming Friday. But yeah, as you can see there, I have this like big old TV unit here, my TV, and then I have this thing over here with a bunch more other statues there. Kind of dirty over there right now though, because I've been building all the stuff and whatnot. But once I have all this stuff set up, I'll do like a room tour, then kind of get a better idea of everything. And eventually, I'm going to, on the other side, do something similar to this. So like, it'll look really good. I think it'll look really good. That's all that matters, I guess, in the end, right? I don't know. Either way, but there you go. That's a quick preview of the interior setup there. A little peek behind the curtain. I just thought it looked really good, so I thought I'd share it with you guys. And let me know if you have any questions on like how I built the bench or anything like that, or where to get parts and like lighting and things like that. Be happy to talk about that anytime y'all want. But yeah, hope you like that. Look forward to that coming out soon within the coming months when I finally get all that done and set up and all the lighting I want to get out of stock right now. So it's just kind of sitting there. I'm waiting for more figures to get in to actually fill that up because the long-term goal for that is it's going to be all Star Wars. So, and then anything else would probably go on the other side or go behind me for out here in the studio for the time being. But either way, thank you all for watching. Once again, hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe and all that sorts of good stuff. Again, Honest Uneducated, our podcast, every Monday, 7 a.m. Collectible reviews, statues, all that stuff goes out on Wednesdays. We live stream every Friday, sometimes Saturday and Sunday, just depends. But yeah, I appreciate you guys watching. And until next time, guys, take care.